Proper pacing is crucial to improvement. Many players, myself included, try to do too much at once or attempt to learn something too quickly. Perhaps they're panicking about how long it's taking and they get impatient. This issue can occur both in-game and out of game. Some examples of poor pacing in-game could be trying to end the game even though you know it's very unrealistic and it's likely to backfire. This is particularly common with players who play early game champions when they overvalue the threat of getting outscaled. But you could also have the opposite. You could be playing too slowly. Just because you're playing a late game champion doesn't mean you won't have opportunities early game. Sometimes you should be taking early 2v2 or 3v3 fights, other times you shouldn't. It just depends on what's going on in the game. Maybe you should take slower fights because you have a poke team comp. Maybe the team would do better with really fast fights because you have a lot of engage and the enemy team lacks disengage. Perhaps you're not waiting for your teammates' ultimates to come up or you're taking too long to fight while you know the opponents don't have flash. This delay could allow the flashes to come up and completely swing how the fight would play out. When it comes to out of game or the improvement process as a whole, this isn't just from end game or individual fight type of decisions though. It can also be from out of game and how you view the process of improvement overall. Perhaps you're trying to take on too much at once so you end up overwhelming yourself. An example of this can be players that move the camera constantly with F keys, but they're doing it so quickly that they're not actually receiving any of the information. Yes, they're building some muscle memory of hitting the keys, but they're not really taking in what they're supposed to be, which is causing them to be unable to improve on their decisions. It would be better to start off by doing a little bit slower so you can actually see the information, even though it's not optimal in the short term. But that way you can build up the ability to see information more quickly, and then you can start to use your F keys faster like you were before. You don't need to jump from no F keys straight to faker. Work your way up. This can also happen with players that want to rank up very quickly and they have ambitious goals. That's fine. There's no problem with being ambitious, but you don't want to get too tunneled in on getting the next rank as fast as possible because you may end up causing yourself to play worse. If you do that for long enough, you'll actually be going in the opposite direction instead of towards your goal. Because at this point, you're not focusing on the actual improvement that's required to reach that goal. Ironically, this is going to cause you to stagnate more than if you had done it a little bit slower from the beginning. But just being patient isn't enough either, because you also need to be willing to push yourselves in times where it's important. Make sure that you are constantly looking to improve the skills that you're trying to get better at.